God wasn't late, trusting Him after everything fell apart. Want to start by telling you something I have never actually said out loud in a video before. A few years back, I went through a season where I prayed harder than I have ever prayed for anything in my life. I mean, I was on my knees. I was fasting. I had people I trusted praying with me. I had written it in my journal so many times that the pages were warped. I was doing everything I knew to do. And I was genuinely, completely convinced that God was going to come through, and He didn't. Not the way I asked. Not even close. And the worst part, the part I was not prepared for, was not the disappointment itself. I could have handled disappointment. The worst part was the silence. That hollow, confusing, nobody warned me about this silence, where you keep praying, but it feels like the words are just hitting the ceiling, where you open your Bible and the verses that used to feel alive just sit there flat on the page, where you go to church and sing the songs and smile at people and look completely fine, and inside something has just gone completely quiet. If you know exactly what I am talking about, stay with me today. Because this video is for you. You know that moment right after it happens? Not the loud, dramatic moment. The quiet one. The one where you are standing in your kitchen or sitting in your car in a parking lot and the news has had about 60 seconds to fully land. And everything just goes still. The thing that hits you first, the thing that scares you more than the situation itself, is this question that starts forming somewhere deep in your chest. Where was God in this? Because you prayed. You did not just casually pray. You got serious about it. You told people you were trusting God with this. You were doing all the right things, and it still fell apart. Maybe it was the relationship you believed God for. Maybe it was the pregnancy you lost. Maybe it was the business, the ministry, the friendship, the dream you had been holding for so long it had basically become part of who you are, and now it is gone. And you are totally blindsided. And somewhere under all the going through the motions, there is a question you are almost afraid to say out loud. God, did you even see this? Whether you are watching this at midnight because sleep is not happening, or you are on your lunch break trying to hold it together before you have to go back and face people, stay right here with me. Because we are not going to rush past what you are feeling. We are not going to slap a Bible verse on it and call it healed. We are going to walk through this thing honestly. Together. And I believe something is going to shift before we are done. First thing I need you to receive, and I really mean receive it. Not just hear it. What you are feeling right now is not a faith failure. I know your brain is not telling you that. Your brain is probably running a full highlight reel of everything you did wrong. Every prayer you did not pray. Every moment you doubted. And it is whispering, if you had more faith, this would not have happened. That is a lie. And I need you to call it that. Some of the most faith-filled people in all of history walked through devastating disappointment. Not because they messed up. Not because God was not paying attention. But because they were in the middle of a story they could not see the end of yet. Joseph, 17 years old, thrown in a pit by his own brothers, the people who were supposed to protect him, sold, falsely accused by someone he trusted, sitting in a prison cell for years, doing everything right and still not getting out. If you hit pause on Joseph's story at year 10, it looks like God completely forgot about him. But we know how it ends. What looked like total abandonment was God positioning him for something that would save an entire nation. Hannah, weeping so hard in the temple that the priest thought she was drunk. And instead of compassion, he accused her of being out of her mind, year after year of praying the same prayer, the thing she wanted most, the thing that was eating her alive on the inside, just not happening until it did, in a way that nobody could take credit for but God. Both of them were sitting inside a delay that felt exactly like a dead end. And then there is the story I really want to walk through with you today. Because there is one detail in this story, 4 words, that most people read right past. And I think those 4 words are going to completely reframe what you are walking through right now. But before we get there, I need to take you somewhere first. Open up Psalm 13. 6 verses. Might be the most honest 6 verses in the entire Bible. David writes, and read this slowly, actually let the words land. How long, O Lord? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? This is David, the giant killer, the man after God's own heart, the one who wrote half the Psalms. And he is basically saying, God, did you forget my number? Are you even still there? Did you ghost me? David is not okay. He is not pretending to be okay. And here is what absolutely gets me about this passage. God did not cut it. He did not say, David, that is a little too raw. Maybe clean it up a bit before we put it in scripture. He left it in. He preserved those exact words for 3,000 years. So that you, right now, on what might be the hardest night of your year, could read them and know it is okay to bring your whole broken heart to God. The angry parts, the confused parts, the I do not understand you right now parts, all of it. Because the alternative is performing. And I have seen what performing does to people over time. You smile on Sunday. You say the right things. You look completely fine on the outside, and slowly, quietly, without even realizing it, you start drifting. Not because you stopped believing in God, but because you stopped being honest with Him. And distance from God dressed up as spiritual maturity is one of the loneliest places a person can live. Real faith does not mean you are never confused. Real faith means you bring your confusion to God instead of running from Him with it. Now watch what David does at verse 5. After all the honest crying, he makes a turn. Not because his circumstances changed. Not because God showed up and explained everything. He just makes a choice. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. Not I feel great now. Not everything makes sense. Just, I still trust you. That word unfailing. In Hebrew, it is hesed. There is no perfect English translation, but let me give you a picture. It is the love of a mom who gets a call at 2 a.m. that her kid is in the ER 4 hours away. She does not think about it. She does not weigh the pros and cons. She is already putting on her shoes, driving through a snowstorm if she has to. Nobody asked her to. Nobody could have stopped her. That love is not based on whether her kid deserved it or earned it. It is just who she is. She shows up. That is Hesed. That is God's love for you. Loyal, committed, not switched off because your year went sideways. Not on hold until your faith improves. David held on to that. In the dark, while still confused, while still waiting for an answer that had not come yet. That is the first step, and it is not the easy one. It is letting yourself be completely honest with God while still choosing to trust Him at the exact same time. Now, before I take you to the story I promised, I want to stop for just a second. because I know some of you are carrying something so heavy right now that even the idea of trusting God feels like being asked to lift something you do not have the strength for. And I want to tell you about one more person before we get to Lazarus, because this one does not get talked about enough in this context. Elijah. 1 Kings chapter 19. This is right after one of the greatest miracles in the Old Testament. Elijah just called down fire from heaven. God moved in an undeniable, jaw-dropping, nobody can argue with this way. And then immediately after, Elijah gets one threatening message from one person. And he runs, and he sits down under a tree in the middle of nowhere and says, God, I have had enough. I am done. The man who just watched fire fall from heaven wanted to give up. And here is what God does. He does not give Elijah a theology lecture. He does not tell him to get it together. He does not rebuke him for his lack of faith. He sends an angel with food and water and lets him sleep twice. He feeds him twice and lets him rest. And then, after the rest, after the food, after God just took care of his basic human needs, then they talk. I love that so much. Because sometimes what looks like a spiritual crisis is actually just a person who is exhausted and hungry and needs somebody to show up and take care of them before they can hear anything else. If that is where you are today, if you are so depleted that you cannot even form the prayer, but that is okay. You do not have to be strong right now. You just have to stay okay. John chapter 11, Lazarus is sick. Not a little sick, the kind of sick where his sisters are scared. Mary and Martha send word to Jesus, and the message is beautiful in how simple it is. They do not demand. They do not tell Jesus what to do. They just say, Lord, the one you love is sick. That is it. You love him. He needs you. We trust you to figure out the rest. Jesus gets the message, and then comes verse 6. 4 words. This is what I told you about. He stayed where he was. Jesus, who could heal people without being in the same county, who could calm a storm with one sentence. Jesus heard that someone he deeply loved was dying, and waited. 2 more days. By the time he gets there, Lazarus has been dead 4 days. Martha runs out to meet him. And I love Martha for this because she is the most real person in the New Testament. No filter, no performance, just completely honest. She says, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. Translation, where were you? That is Psalm 13 standing face to face with Jesus. And here is what Jesus does not do. He does not tell her to calm down. He does not explain his timing. He does not defend himself or give her a 5-point theological framework for why he was late. He asks her one question. Do you believe this? And then, and before the miracle, before the stone gets moved, before anything. Verse 35, 2 words that might be the most important 2 words in the whole passage. Jesus wept. The Son of God, who already knew what he was about to do, who already knew this story had a resurrection in it, who knew that in about 10 minutes Lazarus was going to walk out of that tomb alive, and he still stopped, and he wept with them. He did not skip the pain to get to the miracle. He walked into the pain first. He sat in it with them. He let it matter, and then he walked to the tomb, called Lazarus out, and a dead man walked out in his grave clothes. Here is what most messages on this passage miss, and this is the thing I need you to see. Go back to verse 4. Before the waiting, before any of it, when Jesus first hears that Lazarus is sick, he says, "This sickness will not end in death. It is for God's glory." He already knew. He was not scrambling. He was not hoping it would work out. He was not late. And now look at verses 5 and 6 back to back, because the way John writes this is not an accident. It is the whole point. Verse 5. Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. Verse 6. So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was. So, because he loved them, he waited. The delay did not come from distance. The delay came from love, a love that could see the whole story from beginning to end and knew exactly what needed to happen and when. Think about what a 2 days earlier miracle would have looked like. Lazarus gets healed. People are grateful. Life goes on. Nice story. But it does not get written down for 2,000 years. It does not reach every person who has ever read John 11 in the middle of their darkest season and realized, oh, he is not absent. He is working. The smaller miracle would have replaced the bigger one. And here is what that means for you right now. You cannot see from where you are standing what God is building. You are in chapter 7. You cannot read the ending from the middle of chapter 7. The silence is not him pulling away. It might be him getting so close, working so specifically, doing something so precise that it just does not look like what you expected his presence to look like. I have to say this next part carefully because I mean it with everything in me. I know some of you are thinking, but my Lazarus did not come back. My marriage did not get restored. My baby did not come home. My dream did not survive the wait. And I am not going to stand up here and pretend that is a tidy, easy thing to sit with. I do not have a clean answer for it. What I do know is this: Jesus wept before he ever moved a stone. He entered the grief before the miracle. The God who sat in that pain with Mary and Martha is the same God sitting in yours right now. His presence in your pain is not a consolation prize. It is not plan B. In ways we will probably not fully understand this side of heaven, it is everything. So what does this actually look like on a regular Tuesday? When you have still got to go to work and the thing is still not fixed and you are trying to figure out how to keep trusting God when life is just heavy, let me tell you what actually helped me. Not 3 points, just what worked. The first thing I had to do was let myself actually grieve and bring God into it instead of shutting him out. I had to stop performing okayness and start just talking to God like a real person. Not polished prayers, not King James English. Just, God, I am hurt. I am confused. I genuinely do not understand what you are doing right now. And I am going to tell you that instead of pretending I am fine, he can handle it. He kept Psalm 13 in the Bible. He fed Elijah before he said a single word. He wept with Mary before he called Lazarus out. He is not fragile. He does not need you to protect his feelings. He wants you, the real you, the hurting you, the confused you. The second thing, and this one took me a long time to actually believe, was learning to separate what I feel from what is true. Because I felt abandoned. I felt like God had just moved on. And that feeling was so real and so consistent that it started to feel like a fact. But feeling something is not the same as it being true. David felt like God forgot him. God had not. Mary felt like Jesus was too late. He was not. Your feelings are real. They are valid. They are just not always accurate reporters of what is actually happening in places you cannot see. That hesed love, that won't quit, won't stop driving through the snowstorm love. It did not pause because your situation got hard. It does not work that way. It cannot work that way. It is not built that way. The third thing, This is the one that moved the needle the most for me. And I want you to actually try this. I stopped asking, why did this happen? And started asking, God, what do you want to do in me through this? Because why did this happen will drive you absolutely crazy. Most of the time, you are not getting a clear answer on that question this side of heaven. But what do you want to do in me through this? That is a question God will actually answer. It moves you from staring at the closed door to being open to where He is trying to take you. It is not giving up on the miracle. It is giving God room to define what the miracle looks like. That is where the peace starts. Not all at once. Not in a way that makes the pain disappear, but like a small light in a really dark room, and it starts. I want to slow way down right here, because I need this next part to land. Somebody watching this right now has been holding it together for so long that they are running on empty in a way that has nothing to do with sleep. The kind of tired that is in your soul. And you have been so strong for so long. For your kids, for your spouse, for your team, for everybody who needs you to be okay. That you have not had one single moment to just be not okay. You can be not okay right now, right here. Nobody is watching. It is just you and God and whatever quiet space you are in. He is not waiting for you to get it together before He shows up. He showed up for Elijah when Elijah was done. He showed up for David in the middle of the lament, not at the end of it. He showed up for Mary and Martha before the miracle, in tears, in presence, in I see you and I am right here. He is not far. He is not silent because He does not care. He is close in a way that the noise of trying to figure everything out is making it hard to feel. Just stay. David ends Psalm 13. After everything, with nothing resolved, with the circumstances still exactly the same, with this, I will sing to the Lord, for He has been good to me. Not, I understand now. Not, I feel great. Not, it all worked out. Just, He has been good to me. I know who He is, and I am going to hold on to that while I wait for what I cannot yet see. That is the whole posture. Not pretending, not performing. Just anchoring yourself to what you know is true about God. Even when the situation is still hard and still confusing and still unresolved. And here is where I want to come back to where I started. That season I told you about at the beginning, where I prayed everything I had and it did not go the way I asked. I will be honest with you. I still do not have a clean explanation for all of it. I probably will not this side of heaven. But I can tell you that what God built in me through that season, the kind of faith that is not dependent on the outcome, the kind of trust that does not require an explanation, I would not trade it. Not for the thing I was asking for. I did not know that when I was in it. I could not have believed it. But it is true now, and I believe it will be true for you too. He is good. He is faithful. He is not finished with your story. And He is a lot closer than the silence is making Him feel. So here is your one thing for today. Find a few minutes, your car, your room, a walk outside, wherever you can get alone, and have a completely honest conversation with God. No performance, no perfect words, just you and Him. Tell Him exactly how you feel, and then at the end, say this. I don't understand this, God, but I am choosing to trust you anyway. That is it. That is the whole thing. That is faith in the dark. And that right there is enough. If this video helped you today, drop a comment below and tell me the one thing that landed for you. Just one thing. I read every single comment and I genuinely want to know. And if somebody in your life is holding it together by a thread right now, do not wait to share this. Send it to them today, right now, because they need to know they are not alone in this and neither are you. God bless you. I will see you in the next one.